Well, in answer to your query, yeah, I got a lot of my influence today on the music that I'm doing from the 70's. I know a lot of people my age say that because it's true. I mean, the 70's were such an amalgamation of so many different cultures and timelines and um, musical venture exploration of new media, and it's just really an interesting time. I remember it being kind of dirty, because everyone had these fucking horrible clothes and weird hair, and everyone smelled like sweat and Hovan musk and fucking wearing yarn in their hair and shit, and people made their clothes. It was really, really interesting when you look at a historical aspect. But like at my mom's house and her household, we listened to 50s music just all the time and early folk and a lot of the big band era stuff. And that was really big in my mom's household and my grandparents too. And so in which I loved it. I mean, it seeded a really interesting root in my musical crafting and upbringing later on in life. And at my dad's, it was more on the hippie side, Monterey pop stuff, Beatles, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, fucking ELO, and so I got a lot of exposure there, which I loved. Jimi Hendrix. I heard the national anthem, when the first time Winnie played it on the television, and was able to see clips from that as a young kid, and then later on in life, growing up in Monterey and going to the fairgrounds every year, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful time. A lot of really interesting influences, and the disco era came in, and that was a departure from the hippie age, and cocaine was coming in really big in that time, and in Britain and London, the punk scene emerged. The revolutionary fuck the system came in, and that came over to New York, and then just spread like wildfire. The new punk scene, which I didn't really experience and get into until the early '80s when I grew up a little bit more. But I love that. But the '70's were just really a interesting time, especially growing up in the Bay Area. And my dad was involved in working for different computer companies and different things. So just so many different influences. Anyways, that answer your question? All right, man.